Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Ron. How are you doing?
Thanks for being with us.
It's a pleasure.
Well, we're talking about, in the area here. We're in Massachusetts. Where are you, by the way?
I am in New York City.
Okay. Everybody's in New York City but me, apparently. Yeah, we're up in this area for the past, I guess, a year and a half. There's been a lot of infrastructure with the highways and bridges, and there are big signs saying that this is funded by the National Administration for Infrastructure.
Sure.
Of President Obama's
Reinvestment Act.
Sure. So we're seeing a lot of it, and more of it. And then I looked at what you're doing here, and I saw that the United States is the 16th in infrastructure as far as that's concerned, and I thought, wow, that's kind of amazing.
Yeah, and we've dropped from 6th to 16th, in the last 3.5 to 4 years.
Yeah, well, I understand that because of the economy, but I don't think we're in great shape prior to that either, were we?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've made any kind of major investment in, bringing, our roads and bridges, back into really good quality and good condition.
Right. Has that really sparked job creation? I know that was part of the reason for doing it as well. In other words, it was a good reason to put people back to work. Has it made any dent?
I think it did help. I think it did make a dent. I think that, we didn't invest enough, and I think that you'll hear a lot of people out there saying that, a lot of the initial Reinvestment Act, really didn't go where it needed to go and probably wasn't as much as we needed to invest.
And then on the other hand, people are crying about investing $1. You got the top minds in Congress, and that's an oxymoron. Trying to figure out to save us from collapse again. I guess, how do you balance those two?
Our focus really is on, whatever money we do get as far as an investment in infrastructure goes, that we use it as efficiently and as smart as possible. I think that making an investment in infrastructure is a very positive thing for the country. I think it does create jobs, and I think that making sure that we have, the world's best infrastructure really affects the quality of living for everybody.
Yeah.
So, we invest, we use that money smartly, we create jobs, the jobs increase tax revenue, and we create an environment that people want to live and work in.
Yeah, and what are the ramifications if we didn't look at the infrastructure?
I think we're seeing it all around us. We have roads that are in really poor condition. If you're talking about Massachusetts alone, it's estimated that 56% of the bridges are deficient. They're not up to the structural condition that they should be in. Over 40% of the major roads are in poor or mediocre condition. So, we're seeing the challenges of not making those investments.
Right.
And, again, we're not going to get all the money we need. There's an estimate that says that it's $15 to $19 billion needs to be spent in Massachusetts alone to get, roads back into good condition. If we don't get that $15 to $19 billion, we got to make sure that we're using whatever investments we do get in a very smart and innovative way.
Now, you're with Microdesk.
Yes.
And how is that company getting involved in this subject matter?
So Microdesk is a consulting firm. We've been around for about 20 years, and over that time, we've spent, our careers looking at how, roads and bridges and buildings are designed, how they're built, and how they're operated and maintained. And, our focus now is on applying technology to those processes to make sure, again, that whatever investment money we get, that we get as much done as possible. Looking at from a national level, they're estimating that it's a $2.2 trillion investment that's needed. Our focus is if we can increase the efficiency and do things in a smarter way, right, maybe we can cut that $2.2 trillion down and do it for less.
And this is done through technology. You work with some of the biggest technology conglomerates in the world here.
Yeah, our two biggest partners are a company by the name of Microdesk, which creates computer-aided design and building information modeling software, and Oracle, which is the database software provider that provides project controls and asset management and maintenance applications.
Actually, they're based right out of here, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah. And Google as well, and Adobe. These are huge.
Absolutely. They're the companies that are providing, the innovative technology that we think is needed to make sure that we can get U.S. roads and infrastructure back to being number one in the world.
Excellent. how can people get more information about this?
They can certainly check out our website at www.microdesk.com. That's MICRODESK.
Huh?
And there'll be lots of information, including links to Oracle and Autodesk and all the other software programs.
Well, it's great talking to you. Wish we had more time, but the point is certainly well taken.
Ron, I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Have a great day.
Good night.